You're all with us. All right. And everybody's saying good evening to everybody. And how is everybody this beautiful evening? Tell you what, it's been gorgeous here. I mean, we've had like 80-degree weather the last few days. We were at like 101, and all of a sudden we're at 80. I mean, I like this. This is more like living in England. One of the good things about living in England was the weather. There was plenty of good things about living in England, but living in the USA is still better, right? So proud to be an American. I really am very proud to be an American. Lived more than half my life in America, so I may not sound like I'm an American, but I'm an Okie these days. All right. So Hillside says we had a heat wave in South Carolina. Well, maybe some of this cool weather we've got will go over your way of the jet stream, I hope. So we've had a wet, moist, coolish spring, which is wonderful, and kind of got spoiled on that. And now when it gets to 100 degrees, we're all like screaming and hollering, but we've got to remember that that's what we normally get in August. So we'll see how it is. Okay, so I thought I'd start by talking about DNA a little bit. And what prompted this was a few questions from people on DNA. And also we've got the DNA on these babies back. So I want to talk a little bit about how you go about DNA, why you go about DNA, when do you go or get your DNA, how do you collect your DNA, what does it cost? All right, so for us, the simplest, so to get a DNA sample in, now you can go to AKC and there's a DNA thing there, but that's not DNA about coat color, that's DNA about parentage. If you have a stud dog or a dog that you import from overseas, you have to get AKC DNA on that dog. Any dog that's been used more than, I think, 3 times in 1 year or 5 times in its lifetime has to have a DNA profile on board with the AKC. That DNA profile tells you nothing about color. It's just a parentage thing. That if you've got a dog or a puppy and you have a DNA test done on that puppy and both the mom and the dad have DNA profiles on hand at the AKC, you can then see whether or not that is an offspring of that dog. It proves parentage. You can do it yourself. I mean, I've got a video on this. It's not that difficult to do. So 1 second here. I'm just getting a call from my daughter. Hey, I'm doing a show right now, but baby's doing good.
Perfect. All right, just checking in.
Bye-bye.
We just got our order taken. All right, love you.
Bye. Love you too. Bye, sweetie. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're back. We've got the grandbaby with us today. And that's one of the reasons why Tammy's not in here. I thought she'd bring the grandbaby in and put the 6-month-old on her lap, but she's just been fed and she may be, it's time for her to nap down. Anyway, right, so DNA. So the AKC DNA, I have a lot of people say, oh, I've got the AKC DNA, what's the color of my dog? And then they'll send me something, it's a whole series of panels with 2 letters and numbers in each. And it's like, no, that's just a parentage thing, it does not tell you anything about color. So how do you get a DNA test to find out about color or a health panel? You go to places like Animal Genetics, VetGen, UC Johnson, Paws and Prints, Embark, and there's one more if I could remember it, but they're all about the same price and they all pretty much do the same thing. They all require that you send in a DNA sample. So the first question is, how do you send in a DNA sample? Well, one way is you can go get from most of those places, certain Animal Genetics, a free swab kit. You just say, hey, I need a swab kit, or I need 5 swab kits, I need 1 for every puppy. Basically what it is it looks like a Q-tip, a little brush on the end of it, and you put it in the puppy's mouth, and you rub it around on both cheeks a few times, and you put it back into a sleeve, and you send it off, and there's the DNA that they need. But that puppy cannot have been nursing within the last 3 or 4 hours, otherwise mum's DNA in her milk can give you an incorrect result. So we don't do it that way. What we do is we remove the dew claws at about 3 to 5 days old, and that's very, very easy to do. And I've got videos on this. All you do is you take a pair of hemostats, and you basically clamp it down on the joint of the equivalent of my thumb, and that thing, the thumb then pops up, and you literally just take your fingernail and scrape it across the jaws of the hemostat, and hey presto, you've got yourself a dew claw right there. And most dogs have only dew claws on the front. I've never seen one on the back. We take both the dew claws off. It literally takes maybe a minute a dog, and they do squeal when you clamp down on the hemostat for a second, and that is it. There's no stitches required. It doesn't bleed. I mean, when I say it doesn't bleed, it might produce a tiny spot sometimes on a paper towel. But I'll go back and check the puppies and make sure that nobody's bleeding. And occasionally I've seen a little bit of stain of blood on their paw. Never done anything about it, but certainly you could do something like put some cornstarch on it if you're worried about it. But anyway, simple, easy, reliable, get good results. That's the way that we do it. All right, how long does it take? Varies by company. One of the reasons that we use animal genetics is that it's very, very quick. Typically within about 2 or 3 days of them receiving the sample, and they'll give you an email when they receive it. Within 2 or 3 days of receiving the sample, there will be an email ready. You can log in and you can look at a PDF that gives you results like that. They used to have coupons that are given out here recently. They just dropped their prices across the board. These puppies behind me had all their DNAs done. Their DNA was $120 per puppy for a complete coat color, including merle, and a 6-panel health test for $120. Now, 5 puppies still going to cost you $600. It's not like chump change, right? But you know, that's probably as cheap as it's ever been to get it done. How reliable are the results? Pretty darn reliable, but certainly, you know, we knew the DNA of both the mum and the dad, so we knew statistically what we expected to get. So, for instance, we knew that we weren't going to have any pied dogs in this litter. And if anything had come up as pied, that would be an immediate bell that would be ringing and saying there's something wrong. And if that happens, then all you've got to do with animal genetics is call them up and say, this can't be right. And they'll say, okay, send us another sample, we'll do a retest. We won't charge you anything extra for doing that. They're very good about this. I mean, I really like animal genetics. I mean, you know, when I call them up, I had an issue the other day. I called them up. They actually knew who I was. I thought that was very cool. I felt like, you know, I was a celebrity. That was very nice. So I had a conversation about them and about what I was doing on YouTube. And that was pretty cool. But anyway, they're nice people. They always bend over backwards to make you happy. They're very quick. Now, I've been to places like Embark. I see a lot of Embark tests. The Embark test is a bit convoluted, and it's hard to interpret exactly what the results mean. I mean, I can do it because I've seen so many of them, but it's definitely hard to do. Oh, we're bringing a baby in here?
Yes.
All right.
Oh,
Good.
I don't know.
Why?
Because it's smelly from the other puppies.
Oh, well, there you go.
We may not stay in here for very long. It's okay, Mama. No, it's okay, Mama. You hear the baby and you can go around.
All right, so other places, like I think, you know, VetGen used to take like 7 weeks to get results, which is just nuts because you want the results as quick as you can, because the reason you're doing this is so that you can tell your future customers what you've got. And I think that, you know, without knowing what the DNA is, you're stepping off into shaky ground here, you know, thin ice, because you may oversell a dog. You know, you say, oh, this dog's a lilac, but in fact it's not. Or you might say this dog's a blue, and in fact it's a lilac, and you've undersold the dog. So I think for us, getting DNA results is very important. Now, if you're selling dogs strictly as pets, and it's all off visual color, then of course it's just irrelevant. It doesn't really matter at all. All right, so that was how to do it. That's when should you do it. If you need help interpreting results, in most cases it's pretty obvious with animal genetics, because they give you a kind of a decipher against each different gene. But you know, if you need any help with this, you're just welcome to call anytime. We've got to help her.
She's got answers.
Yeah. Stump the baby, right?
Yeah, she has answers.
She's like, what is that?
Yeah, she wants to see the puppies.
Oh, yes.
Oh, what do you think about the puppies?
This is Olivia, which is Chanel's daughter, Chanel and Jake's, and she is now, is she 6 weeks yet?
Honey,
6
months.
rather.
Yeah, no kidding.
She's about to the point, she's starting to say, Mama, and we're kind of voicing things, and we're trying to do a little bit of calling around. She's really just such a fun little baby.
And I don't know how to operate this thing. I just took that one apart, and I didn't realize I did.
You want some help with them? Okay, let's have a few questions here.
I know where it is.
Lots of people. So we've got lots of people here. Casey Turner's just with us. We also have French's, Tuscan House of French's. David Ovard, Frenchie, Frenzy, KC. Can't wait to see your new Frenchie babies. You will see those in a little bit.
Okay,
Jenny S. What?
She said, I want to see the babies.
You want to see a baby? Do you want to see the
babies?
Uh-oh.
It's okay.
Oh.
Okay.
She's normally a very happy little girl. But I think there's noises. What is that
Scaring
behind
her
you?
back there.
I don't know if she's thinking that's cool or not. Castle Hills moves all the dogs inside for the main part of the house. It's kind of fun having them in their crates all over the living room. Yes. Right, those are Labradors too, so those are big dogs.
Figured that out.
Yes, here we go.
These gadgets, it's not just an easy belt and a tray.
Well, these days everything's built to be extremely safe.
Yes,
which means that, which is good, which means that you've got
the babies.
all kinds.
There's the babies.
All right.
I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here. No,
She's
Sophia.
Okay.
She keeps on looking at Sophia like.
Crazy Arkwrights are expecting their first litter of English bullies this week. Well, good for you. So I don't know if you have to have C-sections on all bullies. If you do, be very careful about timing your C-section. I think there's nothing better than taking the temperature, watching that temperature drop to go below 99.0 to tell you that you're within 24 hours having puppies. It's not 100% guaranteed, but it's about pushing 90% guaranteed. All right.
TV.
Jenny S. I have a full fluffy boy that has one ear that tends to flop. It occasionally will stand up for a minute or two on its own. It's anything I can do. And then somebody answers to you, Tuscan House French is Jenny S. You can take it up. And that is exactly it. It's so simple. Typically, within a day or two of doing that, the ear stands up. So what do? You take the ear and you fold the ear like a taco. So the two edges of the ear, this is the ears flop down. You lift the ear up and you tape the ear up like that. So you put some tape all the way around the ear so it's like that. And what you'll find, people say, well, how long do I leave it on for? The answer is the puppies and mum will take it off within 24 hours anyway. And then you'll see if it's standing. If it is, good. If it's not, take it back up again. Very common to see puppies, bigger puppies have problems with these ears dropping down. And then sometimes you'll see puppies, their ears will be standing up and then they get like a vaccination and their ears drop down. So we like to have the ears fully up by the time they're 6 or 7 weeks old. I've got some puppies I'm looking at here that are now 9 weeks old, and their ears are all standing up beautifully. And we'll maybe show you those here in a little bit too.
Just put her in my lap.
Okay.
Hang on, right here. Put your hand in front of her chest, please. There you go.
All right, let's have a look here.
Amen, get her. I know that.
Ariel's talking about temperatures being in the 80s is nice. I've seen 103 in a few days. Yeah. So Jenny S says he is a year old. We're talking about the floppy ear dog. He's a year old. Is that too late to make the ear stand up? Very likely, yes. So what's going on here is the ear is made of cartilage, which is soft, and when it's down and it stays down, and the cartilage starts to harden up, it can stay in that position. So the answer is that really this is something that you do want to tackle. What you'll see in most dogs, because some dogs have floppy ears, and of course you don't have to worry about this. You know, if you've got like a King Charles Spaniel, you're not going to go through this. But if you've got like a Min Pin or a Frenchie, then what you're going to see is their ears are typically born with very small ears, and their ears are up. And as they get bigger, they flop down. And around, see these puppies over here, they have their ears are all up, aren't they? Not really?
No, James.
They're not? Okay. Well, they're born with their ears up.
They're 2 weeks.
Well, I thought their ears might still be up and then they flop down. Are they all flop down?
Not really.
Okay, right. Well, we'll look at them in a little bit.
Up and down.
Okay, right. Jessica Barber. I just got the DNA back on my fluffy female. She's AT. That means 10 points. She's Big B, Little B, means she carries a copy of Rojo. She's little CO, which means that she is a chocolate dog, which means she'll have a red eye glow in a dark room, to confirm that. She's Little D means she's a blue, so the combination of those makes a lilac, blue, and cocoa. She's Big EM means she has a black mask. No pine or brindle or merle. What color would you suggest as a stud to get the best variety of colors? Well, so this dog could make for you blues, cocos, rojos, lilacs, new shades. That's what your dog makes. And if it was me, if you looked at our dogs, I'd be breeding with a dog like Gobstopper, who is a new shade Isabella, full fluffy. And what will you get with that? You get a litter of half lilacs that carry Rojo and half new shades, of which they'll all carry fluffy, and none will carry pine or brindle, and they'll all have 10 points. That would be a great litter in my book. That's who I would be choosing. and that is, I'm thinking, who's daddy for Gobstoppers, Tammy?
What?
Who's Gobstoppers daddy? Well, Sophia's. Yes, that is so. Gobstopper is a product of Willy Wonka, and that is also the lineage of this dog behind me. And she is a Rojo new shade carrying blue. So she's kind of like your dog, except that she's got 2 cops of little D, whereas you've got 2 cops of little CO. But yes, that's who I would be. If you look at our dogs, Gobstopper would be absolutely the dog that I'd be choosing. Fluffy, furry French is with us. May Pei Moo's with us. Jenny said she's here to drool over the babies. All right, we'll get there in a moment.
Okay.
Those crazy Arkwright talked about they're having a litter coming up soon. They're planning on doing a C-section. Yes, says I can't risk Miss Winnie. You're right. I mean, so part of the problem here, for us here in Oklahoma, the C-section cost is who we go to is like $800. It might be a bit more with a large litter or after hours. It might go up to $1,000. But it just doesn't make any sense to be risking anything for that kind. I mean, I know it's still money, but not when the puppies are worth a heck of a lot more than that. Just there's no, So the problem you get is in some of these places it's $6,000 to $7,000 to $8,000. I understand those people might want to try and save on stuff. Be very careful. If you plan on trying to have a natural whelp, then you definitely, hopefully, have got a bigger female bred to a smaller male, and you do an X-ray about 3 days before C-section to make sure that you don't have a big puppy in there. The worst situation would be a big singleton puppy. That's the one that gets absolutely stuck. If you've got a litter of 5 or 6 smaller puppies, and she's a bigger girl, 27, 28-pound Frenchie, yeah, probably get it done. But be very careful, because there are no guarantees on this. There aren't any guarantees that a C-section always goes okay, but in my experience, it's been 100% okay. So never had a dog die on a C-section, ever. I have had puppies that have got stuck because I didn't know what I was doing and died. So I have been in that camp, and I don't want to be there again. Right. Natural lines driving, will be careful. Let's not have an accident while trying to watch the show. Hillside kennels, how soon before the belly gets chunky after they conceive? This is very variable. I mean, it depends on the size of the litter for a start. Look, if you've got a girl that's got a singleton puppy in it, you may not be convinced that she's pregnant all the way up to the point that actually she delivers a baby. You may have to have an X-ray done to confirm there really is a puppy in there. I think the best indicator that the dog is pregnant is size of nipples, especially in young dogs that have never had a litter before. Their nipples are almost completely flat to their chest, and they get considerably longer. About 2.5 to 4 weeks in, you'll see some significant difference in life. The belly-wise, you might see something going on at 3.5, 4 weeks, but typically it's later than that, might be 5 weeks. And it's surprising how quickly this belly grows. In the last week, things change a lot in that last week. And of course, one thing you can do is you can have an ultrasound done. I'm not a fan of that, but I think a better thing that we always do is we do a relaxing pregnancy test. We sell those tests. I think it's like $75 for 5 tests. Got an expiration date of 2 years. You have to draw blood, but you get results in just a few minutes of doing the test, and it is very, 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 very reliable. We just don't see false positives. You get a false negative if you do it too early. So yeah, that's the way I would do it. All right. Those crazy Arkwright says the quotes for C-sections here are $1,500 to $3,000 for schedule, and emergency starts at $3,300. Right? Yeah. So, we talk about this quite a bit. I mean, I don't like emergency situations. I definitely don't like going to emergency rooms after hours because you get the junior vet and it costs a lot of money, and their level of expertise has not been developed particularly well. So much better to know what's going on by taking all the signs and coming up with it so that you can get the thing done before she ever goes into labor. Yeah. Good to remember, though, 2 out of 7 C-sections likely happen on the weekend. So, if they're open on a Saturday and you can get it done before noon, you probably are going to be all right. But you just got to get the timing right on this. All right. Delisha Jackson, hi there. I have a new shade, Isabella, full fluffy girl. I will breed her with Rowan, your stud. When she goes to eat, what do you think they will have? So what they will have is all new shades. And half of them are going to carry blue, and half of them will be Isabellas. They'll all be full fluffies. And you don't tell us about tan points, but if she's got tan points, they'll all have tan points. And you don't mention about brindle, but there's no brindle or pied in Rohan. It does carry cream, so if you have cream in your girl, you get 1/4 of them would be, new shades covered in cream. But and he's a full fluffy, so all will be full fluffy dogs. So I love Rohan. Looks similar to this dog right here. A lot of people really like this color. This is something that people, you see now a lot of Isabella dogs, and so you don't see so many Rojo dogs. And I think because of that, Rojo is becoming more sought after than it used to be. So there's a baby in here that looks just like her. That's absolutely gorgeous little dog. But I think I'm going to have a hard time prying it out of damn Tammy's hands. I don't think she's going to let it go. All right. Richard says, do you administer the entire full vial of vaccine to each puppy at 6 weeks? Absolutely. So you always give. I know it's kind of one of those crazy things. You think to yourself, well, it's the same vaccine for a giant dog like a Saint Bernard as it is for a Chihuahua. It is, and you give the whole vial to each dog. I mean, it seems to me like what one should do. If you've got 10 dogs in a Chihuahua, so you pull up 5 vials into one syringe, just give them, it's about a cc for each shot. Give a half cc to each Chihuahua. But I think, I've never done that, and I think that if you talk to a vet, they'd say, absolutely no, don't do that. You give the whole shot. So I don't quite know how this works that way, but apparently you don't dose by weight. You give the full dose to each animal. So yeah, got to give the whole dose. And I think anything else, if you're going to do it, you better find out that it's okay from somebody who knows more about this than I do. Though it does sound reasonable. And well, here's another thing. So I just ordered shots today. Typically, Tammy gets the shots from our vet. And last time we got shots, 5 shots was $186. I ordered shots online at Revival, Allied Revival, Allied Vet. The Allied Vet, which is probably one of many places you could order it. A whole tray of 25 shots was $150. By the time I paid the $29 for the overnight shipping and the cool pack and the tax, it was right at $200. So I got 25 shots for what the vet gave me 5 for. There's a pretty big difference. So I'm all about saving money. There's no reason why you can't give your own shots. If you do give your own shots, make sure you keep the label, because you want to be able to prove what you gave, and you need to get the timing right. So for us, it's every 3 weeks, starting at 6 weeks, 6, 9, 12. And they get the same shots. We give a 5-in-1. Actually, this is a 5-in-1 with Lepto, is what I ordered today rather. You got to handle them right. They can't get warm. Got to leave them in the fridge. I think they got a shelf life for well over a year. So I ordered 25, and I need 5 for these guys here, and I need another set of 6 for these guys over here. So by the time these guys are weaned and these guys leave, I'll have rattled through about 20 of those shots and save myself a lot of money. All right. So Delisha Jackson says, no chocolates. No. You're going to get, when we say Rohan is a new shade, she's a new shade. This dog behind me is a new shade. And I mean, it's a chocolate color, right? So, you've got to be careful when you start talking chocolate, because there's 2 versions of chocolate. There's cocoa and there's testable, or what we can now call Rojo. So typically, if you put the 2 together, you get something that's more of a milk chocolate color. But that's a Rojo color right behind you, chocolate. And I think she's gorgeous. Love her color. Oh, this is sleepy. Oh, good. Crazy Arkwright says, hit that thumbs like button. Thank you. This is actually, I forgot to. Yes, look, we've only got half of you who've given us a thumbs up. This is pretty mean. For the half that have given us a thumbs up, we love you.
Okay. You woke up.
Okay. See ya.
Sorry.
This is why you're grandparents and not the actual parents, because when you're grandparents, you can just have fun with the babies. And when they start to get fussy, you just get on the phone and say, hey, Chanel, come and get your rotten kid. The problem is that Chanel's going to be next door to us. We've got ourselves a compound going where we're all on the same piece of property and we're two separate houses. So it's pretty easy to do that, which is lots of fun. All right. Delucia says she has a copy of Cryptic Merle. Well, then she's going to have half Cryptic Merle puppies. And I don't quite know how this works. Cryptic Merle is a dog that doesn't look Merle but has the Merle gene. You can, by the way, can breed a Cryptic Merle to a Merle, which you normally would not do because you can get dogs that have got white heads and white on their ears, and those dogs can be deaf. So typically you don't get double Merles. It's not a good idea. But you can get a double Merle if half is cryptic. So I don't know what happens when you put a Cryptic Merle, whether those dogs look Merle or not. Half of them are going to get the Cryptic Merle gene, and somebody here might know the answer to that because I've never done it. I've never bred a Cryptic Merle knowingly. Hillside says you can get 10 rabies shots for less than $30 at Upco. That's $3 a shot. That's a heck of a deal. I paid, what did I pay? $6 a shot. Did I pay 6? Yeah, I paid $6 a shot. You can get for $3. Well, how about that? Oh, that's rabies. Okay. Well, now you got to be a little careful on the rabies shot because if you give a rabies shot, you don't get a tag, and that you can buy the shots and go to the vet and have them administered. I suspect that they don't want any part of that because they want to be able to show custody of the shot to make sure the shot's been treated okay and not got too hot. But for us, we always get our rabies shots. And by the way, our local rules here in Edmond, Oklahoma is that all dogs have to have a rabies tag who are over 6 months old or something, or maybe it's a year old. So we have to go pay considerably more than that. So there's nothing wrong with you giving a rabies shot. You just got to be aware of the fact that if you do that, you're not getting a rabies tag, and that might be problematic. May pay move for health testing. Do you suggest Embark, Gensol, or both? Well, I never suggest both because it costs too much money. And what we use is Animal Genetics, and they'll do a 6-panel for you. These are all 6-panel clear. Great. Look, it's wonderful. If your dog's a 6-panel clear, scream it up to the rafters, right? But if they're not, a lot of these things are pretty irrelevant. I mean, things like DM in French Bulldogs are completely irrelevant. Just because your dog came back clear or had a copy of DM doesn't make a lick of difference. So, I got to be careful how I do this, but how I say this. But basically, I think it's a way, unfortunately, for the testing companies to make more money. And I think that it's not enough said of it. Embark has a more thorough test with more tests they do. How meaningful it is, I don't know. Hillside Kennel says you get the tags and certificates for the rabies shots. Okay, well, it's different in Oklahoma because you certainly don't get that here in Oklahoma. Interesting. Well, are they doing the shot there? Are they actually giving the injection for you at Upco when you do that? Tell us that. Angela Blythe, I have a Merle. Her dad was a Cryptic Merle. There were 3 pups in her litter that were Merle. Oh, well, there you go. There's your answer. All good. Thank you. So the answer is, if you have a Cryptic Merle, you can get Merle puppies from. Although it doesn't visually show any Merle itself, it can produce puppies that are regular Merles. Didn't know it. Good deal. Ariel says when you start at 6 weeks, they have to have 4 boosters. Well, we do boosters at 6, 9, and 12, and they've left by then. So at that point, you're in the hands of your vet, and your vet's going to want to see what shots they had, and then you and your vet will decide what you're giving next. So, for us, yes, we do a 50-week shot as well, so there'd be 4. I don't know if all vets do that or not. I mean, can you over-vaccinate? Probably not. And then then you've got your rabies shot coming up, and I think that's at 6 months. But Tammy would know the answer to that. She's not in here. Hillside Kennel says no, they're an online store. They send you a rabies tags. Interesting. Upco, I need to check that out. So Upco, UPCO online. Actually, my order for my vaccines is actually in my basket right now, ready for me to pay them. So I was going to pay them this evening, but I want to find out about the Upco thing. Sarah Gonzalez, hello, I have a female second heat, did a progesterone test 9 days after first signs of blood, and she came back at 50 nanograms per milliliter. We still didn't know. What are the possibilities of pregnancy? Well, not good. That is a really high number for day 9. That's very, very high number for day 9, which is but it's possible. So I would have a second test done to make it. Well, here's a question for you. What's a blood color? If a blood color is still red, then I think that there's a very good chance you'll get pregnant, and I would do another progesterone test to confirm that, and I would breed her right away. Yeah, Hillside says I ordered the 3-year rabies. Oh, that's rabies, isn't it? That's right. Yeah, with syringes, tags, and certificates. Well, cool. Yeah. Yes, UPCO, UPCL. All right. Well, there you go. All right. So now it is. It's puppy show off time. Let's show you some puppies. So, of course, you can see Mama back there, and move my chair out of the way. Let's get this over so I don't have Tammy in here without knocking everything over. There we go. All right. This Mama. Mama has done incredibly well. I'm going to raise this lift up a little bit. Let me find the controls for the lift. Where are the controls? There they are. Mama's going to want to come and she's going to want to come and say hi. So, while I'm doing this, of course, I always try to sell you products, right? You know how it is, right? So the lift is really very, very helpful. Now here we're going up a little bit. It makes it so easy because I don't have to get down on my knees. And in fact, I just sprung my back the other day, so I don't even want to get down on my knees. But this just makes life very, very easy. And Mum is very happy to be in there. I lower it down when it's time to let her go outside. Here comes Tammy. She's showing off some babies.
No, James.
She's getting excited. She's getting excited because she saw that baby. Okay, Mama, stay there. Stay there. All right, let's have a look here. Okie dokie. I know, Mama. Yeah, I know. We're going to close this gate so you don't do anything stupid. She's never jumped out of it, but I would hate for her to do that. It would not be a good day. Okay. So, I love this little baby. So, all of these, no, not all, I think 4 of these 5 carry pink.
It's because I've got the baby.
Yes, she wants to get a baby. Okay. Yes.
No.
4 of the 5 carry pink. This girl does. And just look at that little, I mean, this is really, I think, a really nicely put together little baby. She's very short and cobby. She is a new shade that carries blue. So she's little b, little c, little co, big D, little d. Doesn't carry cream, does carry pink, doesn't carry pied or brindle. 80, I think she's 80A. She's got these slightly orange points. But really nice open nares. Look at those nares, really nicely open. This is a product of Sophia here and Husky Supreme, which is one of our friends' dogs here in Oklahoma City. I've known them for a long time. They've got some very nice stud dogs. So I think that's a very special little dog. And so for that reason, my guess is that the people who've got NBA, who've got Husky Supreme, would want this little girl. Now, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Tammy's going to pop with this little girl. And by the way, Ariel's watching and she got Billy from us. And Billy looked like this too. Billy was a really special little dog. So full fluffy, just a really teddy bear little face. I love this dog. All right, so that is not a husky. The other ones, all the other ones are huskies. Okay, Mama, it's okay. Here's your baby. Here's your baby. Here's your baby. All right, let's get this big old fat boy over here. Okie dokie. Yeah, she's like, what are you doing? So there's 2 boys and 3 girls, so we got lucky on that count. That is a husky. So this dog looks like it's a pie, doesn't it? Looks like it's a pie dog. It's not. There's no pie gene here at all. This is a husky. And huskies have this blaze on the front, and they don't have pied. And so this is a new shade Isabella husky carrying, I don't know if this one carries pink. One of the dogs didn't carry pink, and I'd have to go look at the DNA. But again, it's got a really nice big head. This is the largest puppy in the litter. So quite a bit bigger. I think this one is like 16, it's a pound and an ounce, so it's like 17 ounces. And I think the other girl's like maybe 14 ounces. And the one I just showed you is the biggest girl in the litter. But I think this is a very nice little puppy too. So His ears are going to. Tammy was talking about the ears. I mean, I would consider these ears to be standing up at this point, but they will flop back down as they get bigger. So there he is. So he is big B, big B, big. Excuse me, little B, little B, little C, little C, little D, little D, AT. Does that boy carry pink?
Yes, he carries pink.
Okay.
You bet he does.
He carries pink. Okay.
Carries pink.
Yeah.
Isn't he pretty?
He is pretty.
Yeah.
So huskies will produce husky with a single copy. If you put a husky dog like this, one of the dogs, you get huskies from it. Not necessarily all huskies. And not a husky. Bred with Husky Supreme, 4 huskies.
Nice open ears. Good
I showed you a little chocolate girl off first. Is that Hendrix? Beyonce is the first one. That's Aussie. That's right. That's Aussie.
Yeah, this is
Aussie.
Aussie.
Oh, you're gonna be yawn. It's Aussie. All right.
Pretty boy.
Let's have a look.
He might be pending.
Yeah, I mentioned about that, but I thought
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's. Oh, sorry. I was thinking
You're not supposed to say the name.
Okay. All right. Okay. And we all more likes, by the way. Half of you're coming up with your likes, and we still like some more
We need
likes.
some more thumbs
We do.
up. Pretty please. Say pretty please. I got that grandbaby asleep finally. She wasn't happy with me.
The second puppy has Mickey Mouse shaped ears. So round and cute. He does. So grab one of those two girls. Grab those two girls.
I will, James.
All right.
No.
So this is our first litter of huskies, and there's all these new things going on, and there's all these new crazes all the time. And I mean, some things like the hairless, and that I'm just not really a fan of that. But I do like this husky look. I think it's a very cute look. So here's another husky.
She's a little big girl.
That's the second smallest, isn't it?
Maybe Dolly.
Yes. And one of these two last ones carries pink. I don't remember which one without looking.
We're retesting again.
Yeah.
To make sure we got it right.
We're retesting because James.
They're both.
But one carries pink, one doesn't.
They're both Isabellas, so they're new shade Isabellas.
Yes.
And
it's interesting. We say new shade. You can see that milky silvery color there.
Yeah.
And that gives you an idea that you're looking at a new shade Isabella.
Look at her little nose color. Isn't that pretty? She's got a tiny little dot right here. Yeah, she's a good girl.
So she's second smallest.
One of these girls carry pink.
Yes. Then
her eye is open.
Yes, I actually had one eye that was closed. She did a pop eye on me. I took a wet paper towel and kind of daubed on it and opened up a little bit. No. Okay, then we're gonna. So let's see what else is.
Now here's the smaller girl. Mama, I'm fine. I'm gonna bring them back to you. I promise.
Okay, and this one here, and this is.
Her name's Pink.
Pink
She's the little tiny one. Tiny girl. Here, hang on to her, please. Yeah, she is a wigglewort. She's ready to eat. She says, I'm hungry. James has been bottle feeding her, so she thinks.
I've been tube feeding her twice a day.
Yeah,
just keep keeping. She's just been slow to get. She's gaining weight.
Hungry today,
and she's doing fine.
Look at her.
But if you look at these puppies, if you compare them with the boy, they're quite a bit. They're about half the size.
Tiny girl. Her holding her ears back.
Half the weight. It's okay, Sophia. It's all right.
She's a little bitty thing. She's such a wigglewort.
And
she's going to be fed a bottle.
Hand me that bigger boy, so I can compare the sizes. Excuse me.
Mama, I know. She's putting her foot on me like, please don't.
Yes.
James,
let me just have the big boy. Okay, there you go.
That's the sizes.
So you can see here.
Okay, now let me have the babies so I can give them back to Mama.
So you can see.
Hi, Mama. Did you show this little boy?
No, I didn't. And then we've got one boy here who's a little bit funny. He's got a big tongue.
Quit. Him.
I'll take it. You can show him off.
Yeah.
So this last one is also a husky. This is a Rojo husky that carries pink. Yeah. Rojo husky carries pink. Pretty markings on him.
Yeah.
And he was born with his tongue sticking out, and his tongue it's slowly disappearing in. But
it's all attached because we had the vet check it out.
Yeah.
So I don't know with time and he gets bigger if that'll heal and but he's going to go as pet.
Yeah, he has his tongue in
He's a
most of the
pretty
time,
dog,
not all the
yeah.
time. But he's a pretty
Yeah.
dog. He's probably going to
We've
be a pet,
noticed
isn't he?
that when he gets older, that the
That's probably-
first week it was in and that's back out. It's because he's growing in different spurts.
Yeah, I think some of it.
So I think we'll see when he's about 8 weeks old if that still
Yes.
comes out.
Yes. He's got a nice head on
pretty
him, nice open ears.
Oh yeah.
So he is a Rojo, which means
New shade Isabella Rojo.
not Isabella. He's a new shade. Isabella would be 2 copies of
Yeah, my little girl is the new shade Isabella Rojo.
No. So I'll give you the DNA.
Mama is a new shade Rojo.
Yes, and that's a new shade Rojo that carries blue, just like her.
Yeah, not Isabella. Yeah.
There you go.
And
We're on the same
the
page.
sister. Yeah.
I hate it when I have to school Tammy because normally I come with a black eye when I do that. Hey, Tammy, for the first time in our marriage, will you tell me that you were wrong?
I'm
Really?
ignoring you. I have nothing to say to you. Not after I've had the grandbaby, these puppies, and Mama Dog back there giving me a hard time.
Did you ever make a video about the pink gene and how it works? No, but I will. Because I've got to, because we've now got 2 litters that carry the pink gene.
Okay.
So the pink gene is different. It's basically an albinism gene. And if you get 2 copies of pink, then the pink modifies. Yeah, I shut her off.
She may be cheaper. I've already got somebody in the background that if I don't keep her. But she is absolutely beautiful. Oh my goodness, that head's just awesome.
So let's talk for a moment about pinks and huskies, just so you can get an idea of what's going on. So a husky is a pattern, and it's it's a pattern, and it's not because of pied. Pink, 2 copies of pink produce a dog that modifies the coat color substantially. For instance, if you get a cream dog that is a pink, it tends to be more of a caramel color. So it's a modifier. That's all I can tell you about it. I've never had yet a double pink dog. The Shy Farmer says, thanks for all the helpful information. I'm currently looking after a litter of 8 Frenchies, 2 weeks old. Mum's first litter at the ripe old age of 6.5. Yeah, well, good. How's she doing as a mum? You doing good? Are you going to bring out Ariel's baby?
No, I'm cleaning up a mess right now.
Ariel would like to see a baby.
I'm cleaning up a mess, James.
Hillside says Tammy's going to keep the chocolate one. Yeah, you're probably right. He probably is. So HD Frenchies, does 1 copy of pink do anything to their color? I don't think so. I think you would have 2 copies before it actually does anything. It's interesting because like Fluffy, we always say you have to have 2 copies of Fluffy to get a fluffy dog. The answer is a single copy of Fluffy does modify the coat, and it does make it typically thicker, but not as long. 2 copies of Pie to get a Pie dog, but 1 copy of Pie does typically produce a white chest. So the answer is, and then if you have 1 copy of Tan Points, a dog that's ATAY, that tends to be a sable, and you can see some hints of this shading going on. So the answer is, I'm not well versed enough in this to know that I can tell you specifically that you have to have 2 copies for it to show at all. But from what I can see here, it's just hard to say. I mean, I think the answer is you have to have 2 copies. Delicious says, so my girl carries 1 copy of cream and Rohan carries a copy of cream. Will the puppies be cream? 25% will be cream. You'd expect to have 1/4 has no cream gene at all. 1/4 are full cream dogs, and the other half have a copy of cream. That's what you'd expect to get. Of course, your figures might vary, right? Not a guaranteed thing. Yeah, so like visually cream, yeah. So, and of course, a cream dog, this is where pink comes in. A cream dog with pink, it does look different than a straight cream dog. Typically, a cream dog, even if it's a Merle or a chocolate or an Isabella or anything else, just looks like a cream dog. But if you get a double A, and when I say double A, I mean it for albinism, not double A for the what's called the recessive black gene. But a double A albinism dog will have a pink nose. Will have Tammy, will a pink dog have crystal blue eyes?
Honey, we had a pink dog have crystal blue eyes.
Yes.
In a koi, they will.
Yeah, so they will in a koi, which we've got some kois here. Our other litter that's about to leave here pretty soon. In Sir Arthur says, both my pieds only have one copy of pied. Well, that's strange. I don't know about that one. I mean, every time, again, I don't want to say that things are wrong, and I can get it wrong, but every time I've ever seen a pied dog, it's had 2 copies of pied. And any time that I've seen, and that goes all the way to extreme pied, a dog that's almost completely white. Whenever I've seen a dog that has a single copy of pied, they typically have a splash of this white on their chest, and it's not very big. I mean, it can be quite big, it can be very small, but that's an indicator to me that a dog probably carries a copy of pied. And it almost always bears out to be true. But here's the thing about these dogs do not carry pied. And if you didn't know any better, you'd say they're pied dogs. So, I don't know how your dogs are pied and only have one copy of pied, but you say that's so we're not going to argue with you. All right.
I agree, yes.
Yeah, well, yes. I hope my feed's not frozen. Somebody come back and tell me that it's okay, because my feed's frozen at this end here. Can anybody hear me? Somebody tell me they can hear me. So is the feed going out okay? Because it is totally frozen for me. What's up with that? Somebody give me a response. Somebody tell me they can hear me. Oh, okay, sounds good. You can hear you. All right. Good. All right. So I'm not getting it here, so I'm going to have to look at the questions on the screen. So if somebody's asked some questions, I haven't answered them. Oh, no, here we go. Now we're going. It's good. Okay. Right. So if somebody asked some questions and I haven't seen them, it could be because it froze here. I may not have seen your question. So if that's the case, yeah, it's still frozen. If that's the case and I haven't answered your question, re-ask it because it probably got lost in the freezing part. All right. So, Tami, you want to add anything about raising these puppies? How's it been for you?
It's been great.
So we are going through this stage right now with this first litter that are they 9 weeks yet?
They're 9 weeks.
They're 9 weeks old.
Remember, I've got one leaving on the 6th, which
Yes.
is Ariel's dog.
Yes.
And one leaving on the 9th, and one leaving on the 10th, and I don't know about the date of my other.
I'm going to get Ariel's dog real quick.
That means I've got 2 more babies. One of the boys, please don't bring
Yeah, I'm going to this Ariel's dog right here, isn't it?
No.
No?
Right there, that's right there. Right there.
Oh, did she get the panda dog?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. I didn't realize
Disappeared. You better get over there.
I got dogs trying to get away from me.
Go
Come here.
to your program. I'll bring them to you.
Okay, good. Tami's going to bring. We call him Boris, don't we? It's not his name anymore.
No, she's changed it.
I know she has.
Tell me what it is on the deal.
Ariel, tell us what the new name is of the dog you get. So Ariel already has a puppy from a previous litter, from Sophia, a dog that she's now got called Billy. And I think Billy's coming up to.
She's trained Billy to.
And Billy is now a trained dog, and I think he signals off seizures, and which is very cool. So we're very happy that she's getting another dog from us because I know that they're in great homes. Okay.
And she also is going to get a female from us too.
Really? Okay. So this is Ariel's puppy, and I don't. Yeah.
Isn't he gorgeous?
He's a panda.
He's a panda husky koi.
So a panda is a dog that
he's taken
real way.
Well, okay.
A panda dog has kois. This is a classic koi look with the 2 dark eyes with the tan points, and the dark ears makes him a panda. So this is basically it's a fluffy merle that is now with a modifier because of Dad is a panda. Can you test for panda? No, panda is a type of merle marking, but it's very unusual.
I think so scared.
He's not scaredy cat normally at all.
Well, it's the floor. I'm standing up holding it.
Right.
So
yes.
I don't like that.
So I figured that Ariel would be saying something here. Castle Hill Labs, do you have a great source for color charts? Yeah, I mean, there's 2 places, Color My Frenchie, And the other one is the one that I've actually got involved in and helped them out. Oh, good Lord, I can't think of the name now. I think it's called French Coat Color, actually. Yeah. They're both apps. They're both free. They both do really well. And they'll tell you, you put in both parents and it tells you all the possibilities of what you get for colors. And if you've got a lot of different variation of DNA for two dogs, the whole thing could be pretty long list of stuff. These are two that are available?
Here's the two that are available. The one that is a fluffy carrier, this one, the tax man. Can you hold him, please?
Yes.
He carries pink. This is little Jesus. He is a full fluffy new shade Isabella, and he is available. Yeah.
He doesn't carry pink.
No, he does not carry pink. He's a new shade Isabella.
They're scared up here, aren't they?
Full fluffy, husky, coy.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are.
They are. Baby.
They're not scared of
them
them down there.
Tiny boy. Get them mitts, sweetheart. Get them mitts.
Yes.
Okay, give me Bubba.
And they're both gonna have blue eyes, aren't they? Crystal blue eyes.
Oh yeah, they do have
crystal blue eyes. And they'll
blue
stay that.
eyes.
They'll stay that way. They'll stay that way.
How blue his eyes are. It's dark outside, so his eyes are just as blue. Here, please hold that. And this is the boy that carries pink. He's a fluffy carrier. New shade Isabella. Husky coy. And he carries pink. He's some dog. Good baby. And the prices have dropped since I've got my other new babies coming, or that are here. And so I need to move these two. So call and give me a price. And we'll talk price. Yeah. He carries pink.
Okay, you can get that. Taking a dive. If one of them breaks the legs, then it'll be 25% off.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to do that. Hillside Kennels, what would give you a true platinum? What colors would mum and dad have to be? Well, a black
and tan. 2 copies of cream. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the only way you have a platinum.
Right.
A lilac dog that has.
You don't have your mic. Put your mic on.
Well,
So what Tammy's saying in the background there is a platinum dog is always a dog that is blue and cocoa and cream altogether. No, he doesn't take it off now. It's blue and cocoa and cream, 2 copies of all that together. So little d, little co, little e. That is a platinum dog. So what do you have to have in your parents? Each parent has to, at the very least, it's on. Each parent, at the very least, has to have a copy of blue, a copy of cocoa, and a copy of cream.
Yeah, it's a lilac dog carrying 2 copies of cream.
Yeah.
That's the only way, a cream-covered lilac.
As the also, you could put together a dog that was two black and tans, and you could get a platinum out of it. It's not very, you could have a black and tan dog that is, no, that's wrong, not a black and tan. You have to have no, it could be black and tan. You can have actually, you can have a fawn dog that carries blue and cocoa and cream, with another fawn dog that carries blue and cocoa and cream that could produce platinum. Now, what are the chances of that happening? It's a half times a half times a half.
A fawn dog?
Yes. Tammy's questioning me on this.
Yes, I am questioning you on that. Are you positive?
Absolutely positive, yes. So the point about this is that the DNA of your parents doesn't have to have all the attributes of platinum to use a platinum. They each have to have all of the individual 1 copy of the DNA they need for platinum. So there's your answer. The short answer is that platinum dogs produce platinum dogs, but non-platinum dogs can produce platinums. And a platinum dog is little d, little co, little e. If you add little b to that, that makes that an Isabella platinum. And if you don't have the little co, then it's just a well, I'm going to get this wrong, so I'm not going to say anything more about that. So Hillside Kennels, how are they still available? Well, so of course this first litter here, we have not been pushing this litter here at all because we would like to find homes for the first litter, who are now 9 weeks old, and there's 2 boys left. I can tell you this, it's always the case for us, is the boys always take a little bit longer to find homes for boys than girls. The girls almost always immediately get snapped up. Part of this is because we give half-price breeding rights we give full rights to all of our dogs, but we give half price for lifetime, for perpetuity. The females that come, if somebody brings anybody has a female that has one of our stud dogs as the sire of that dog, automatically gets half price breedings. All right, so that makes it easy to have a female. Oh, puppy's hitting the mics. Okay. Ariel says, if you guys are looking for a nice puppy, you're on the right spot. James and Tami has lovely dogs. Well, thank you. Been doing it for a long time. So I think that shows, in our lineup. But we're not the only people who've got nice dogs, obviously. But we do work hard towards that. Hillside Kennels. I have a blue with tan points. If I mix her with a chocolate brindle, can I get a platinum? Maybe. No. Both those dogs are going to have a copy of. So the blue dogs have to have a copy of Cocoa and Cream. And the chocolate dog is going to have a copy of Blue and Cream. And if you don't have those in both of those dogs, it's not happening. Sanji says, hey, my Chipu. So I guess that's a Chihuahua who gave me a birth to 3 more puppies. And I was scared because she started rubbing her head and shaking also panting. She had milk fever. Yup. I gave her Tums and she started feeling better. Well, there you go. So this is something that does happen, especially in small dogs. So if you've got a dog during the whelp process or afterwards, where the dog typically it doesn't happen until they've whelped, where they're starting to produce milk and they take calcium out of their blood supply, their calcium levels go low, and they then get the shakes, and they can even go into a coma. And those dogs typically, the first thing I do is what you did, which is give a calcium supplement or give some Tums. It's not absorbed very well. A much better way to do this is an intravenous line with calcium in it. You have to go for the vet for this. And you've got to be a little careful because you can give too much, not enough. So it's not, you just don't dump. So, I've never had a dog that's got eclampsia. So I don't know the specifics, but I do know that you have to be careful about this and that you need to be aware of the fact that these small dogs can have eclampsia, milk fever, can get in trouble. And it's going to happen typically at birth or a couple of days after birth that you're going to see this happening. Ariel says coat color app. There you go. Good, thank you. Hillside Kennels, dang, you killed my dream of a platinum. Well, look, I mean, if you haven't had your dog DNA'd, you could go have it DNA'd and find out. It's $25 per color if you do it that way. So you get both dogs tested to see if they had cream, if you had cream and blue or chocolate in these dogs. And from that, you'd know whether or not it was possible. But you can always get it done in the next round, right? You can choose a different stud. If you want to produce a platinum stud, the best chance you have this of future offspring is to breed to a platinum stud. And then you've got all the genes that you need. If you bred, you tell us what your female is. Let's just assume your female is a chocolate. If you bred to a platinum, you'd get all blues. You get all chocolates that carry blue and cream. You bred them back to a platinum, again, different underrated platinum, and then you get 1/4 of the litter will be platinums. So you can get there. It's going to take you a couple of goes. Ariel says, I promise you won't regret getting one of these puppies. And I have 2 from James and Tami. We'll go back for another. Yeah, but Ariel, we really appreciate you. We appreciate the kind words. Thank you very much. Thank you. We're getting near the end of this. Somebody asked about strangle. I think maybe you meant strongles. Maybe strongles. I'm assuming that strongles is what you're talking about. Strongles is a parasite that can cause diarrhea and puppies not to thrive very well. And typically, if you've got horses around, that you have a chance of getting strongles. And you've got to get the right medication. And I think that, no, he says no strangles. Okay. So look here. Strangle, I promise. Cynthia Gale says, oh, look, okay, I don't know what strangles is. I know what strongles is. I'm going to talk about strongles for a moment. Strongles, got horses, you like to have strongles. Horses can suffer from strongles. It gets in their feces. The dog rolls around in the feces because they love horse poo. And the next thing you know, they've got strongles. That may not, and then if they've got, if you've got a mama dog and she's been outside, and we've had this problem because we used to have horses and the dogs would get out there and they would just absolutely love the horse manure. They would love the horse manure. So we did have an episode of Strangles one time, and it took quite a bit to get rid of it, but we were successful. Strangles, I don't know about. I will research Strangles and see what I can find out, and I will talk about Strangles next weekend. So that is on my to-do list. That's on my that's my homework. All right, so there we go. There's a whole full hour. Eyes swell up, throat, and it's hereditary. Okay. Well, I'll find out more about this. If you say it's hereditary, then it's not a bacterial infection, is it? So, yeah, interesting. You might, Cynthia, what kind of dog do you have? Is it Frenchie? Because, again, I'm surprised you've not heard of this. That doesn't mean that it's not right, though. I mean, that's one of the great things about this show is that we all get to learn something, right? So, there we go. I mean, I learned something today about cryptic morals. I didn't know whether a cryptic moral could produce a true moral dog, and the answer to that one is yes. And now Cynthia's coming up with something that I don't know nothing about, so I've got to go educate myself on that. I like it. I hope that you all pulled something away from this hours-long diatribe of mine. So Cynthia, yes, whelped a litter for a friend of mine for the first time. Yeah. Ariel, can you put a price on a well-rounded and healthy puppy? Oh, you can't put a price. Well, I thought you were going to ask me to put a price on it. So, I mean, I think that this is it. Look, what is the price of a really nice dog? The answer is you can get a really nice dog from the pound. It might just be the cost of having the dog spayed, right? And you can get a Frenchie that doesn't look like a Frenchie. Got long legs and a neck and a nose that goes out and a tail on the back end and skinny and ears that don't look right. And then you can get a dog like that little chocolate girl. I think is absolutely gorgeous. It's and then there's a lot more to it than that too. Then there's the temperament of the dog. Some dogs, I mean, typically French bulldogs have got really nice temperaments. They're very easy to live with. They're not aggressive. They don't make a lot of noise. They like everybody. Other breeds, a little bit different, and you've got to choose the right dog. Do you want a dog that's, high strung, wants to, if you're a little boy, what kind of a dog do you want? Probably Russell Terrier. I mean, that dog could be your friend and go over with you and just get into everything with you, right? If you want a lap dog and you're a retired person, you want to sit and watch TV, a dog like a Labrador Opso is probably a great dog to have, or maybe a King Charles Cavalier, kind of tend to be more lower tier dogs. So there's a lot to this, isn't there? And everybody's got their preferences, Some people, hate a particular breed with a passion. And what breeds do I hate? Not really any. There are some breeds that I get a little bit nervous of, especially with a grandkid around. For instance, I don't think that I'd have a Chow Chow in the house with a 6-month-old around. I don't think I'd risk that. But there's people who've got Chow Chows who swear by them, right? The dogs that I think would be completely safe, by the way, with a grandchild would be a French Bulldog. There's other dogs that are very safe dogs like Labs, but they're bigger dogs and they can knock over small children. Frenchies typically aren't big enough to knock over children. So, and the other thing about French Bulldogs, they can't hardly bite because their face is so flat. They don't have a big old jaw. They can get hold of something and start really doing some damage. Anyway, look, I've rattled on for too long. Yeah, so Hillside says Jack Russells are awesome. I agree. Yep. So Hillside Council says I would pay for breed standards of the breed I love. I agree with you 100%. I think that there's a lot of things about this is that people don't know what the breed standard is, and then they go get a dog that's not the breed standard, and that's still a great dog, but it may not be the right dog if you're trying to breed it. I think that you should absolutely adhere to the breed standard if you're going to breed, because that is what the dog's supposed to look like. If you don't know what the breed standard is, go to the AKC site, and they'll show you pictures of dogs that conform to what they say is the standard that they're going to judge by. And if you get a dog that wins in the ring, it's going to be a dog with good conformation, and that's what we try to breed. Right. Hillside says, my Frenchie can't even bite a French fry. She's got such a snubby nose. Well, there you go. That's right. And you got to love that about Frenchies, right? These little clown faces. I mean, they're characters. I love French Bulldogs. Anyway, oh, well, Tucson's has said I got a handsome champagne male from them. Love him. Great. Well, I wonder who that was. That was maybe a Boublier dog that you got, maybe, because that was one of our first platinum boys, is Boublier or Sahumpalot. Those are our two platinums that we've had. Well, we've had more than that over the years, but that's the two that I can think of right now. Anyway, there we go. Over an hour of your time taken. Next week, James is going to talk about strangles, and hopefully I'll find some useful information. And I think the important things about this is that so that people can recognize what the issues are and know what you do next if you're confronted with this. Because one of the problems with this stuff is that, especially with these unusual things, that they get misdiagnosed. And so to have an idea about what you're talking about starts with having an understanding about what this particular problem is. I don't know what it is yet. Maybe you get to find out. Okay. With that note, we say goodbye and thank you all for watching. Bye, everybody. Have a good one.